two of the best quarterbacks in the country. I said earlier today that these two guys are going to put on a show tonight, and they did. It was so much fun to watch. Proud of our guys. Momentum, we dominated the first quarter and a half, and then right before the half, going into score to get 31 and throw the interception. They run it out to the 50. Then your defense has to step up, and we didn't stop them. So we had to come out and take our momentum back the second half because we lost it all. Missed the field goal, they go down and score. So we let them get back in the ball game. But scored every time we touched the ball in the second half. Scored touchdowns. Really, really proud of the running game and the balance on offense, and that's who we wanted to be to start the season. We just weren't ready to do that. Defensively, we made enough stops to win, but we still, Brennan Armstrong's really, really good. We allowed him to have too many completions and stay on the field on third down. That were 6 for 8 the first half. I know I'm not really sure it was a lot better the second half, but still not great. So we had 3 sacks to their 1. We had fewer penalties, which is something we hadn't done well against them, but Virginia's been a hard team for us to beat. So really, really proud of our team. Sam looked like the quarterback that we all knew he was. He had one of the best games I've ever seen, and his ability to run is really helping our running game because he's had over 100 yards the last 2 weeks. And when he runs, whether it's a scramble or off the read option plays, it opens up a lot more things inside. And then Josh Downs has just been dominating outside. And the fact that Brian Anderson played very little and only at the end when Kyrian Johnson came out, and William Barnes played most of the time at tackle. Ed Montellis played at guard because Josh Azudu and Brian Anderson and Jordan Tucker weren't out there they didn't start and didn't get to play a whole lot. Really, really helps us with our depth because we were not sure about what that would do to our team going into the ball game. And we'll enjoy this one tonight. Got a lot of things we got to fix. Still got some guys banged up. I thought we were in great shape. I thought that was something that really helped us in the fourth quarter. Did a really good job of managing the clock late, but also got to peek at that Georgia Tech score after the game, and they had a barn burner with Clemson at Clemson, so they're obviously much improved. Questions?
All right, thanks, Coach. We will begin with C.L. Brown. Go ahead, C.L.
Mack, how do you kind of explain the running game getting 300 yards when you had to, basically go with 3 different starters on the offensive line, and we hadn't seen these kind of big plays, on a consistent basis anyway in the first 2 games?
CL, I got no clue. This business is crazy. You look up, I sit there and watch games all day and see scores that are just impossible, can't happen. I don't know if it's because the transfer portal is made it where some teams are better than we thought. We didn't know about their transfers, or maybe the locker room isn't settled with some yet that took a lot of transfers, and they'll get better as the season goes on. But with Ty and the offensive line, it just I think they got tired of hearing that they weren't tough, and they got tired of hearing they weren't good. And they did a great job protecting Sam tonight as well as running the football. So hopefully that will get us going. A lot of those guys have been banged up, and they're playing a little bit more now. And it was, like I said, it was William Barnes' first time to start. And just from what I saw, it looked like he did a great job. So that'll really help us going down the road because those guys felt really, really good about themselves. The other thing is the guys didn't like the fact that nobody in that room had beaten Virginia. And this was really important. We'd had our opportunities the last 2 years. So I was really, really proud of their confidence and mental toughness at halftime, that when the game turned and they had lost to these guys enough that it could have gotten in their heads that they didn't, and they came back out. And I do think Ty Chandler is getting more used to this offense. And he hit a lot of creases tonight that we might have missed up until the second half last week. If you go back and look at it, CL, they blocked this way and ran the ball like this the second half last week. And nobody counted it because it was Georgia State. But it was much better in the second half. I thought that was the first time we had an offense that we wanted to have, and it continued tonight.
Thank you.
Over to Dina King.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach, congrats on the win. You mentioned William Barnes. How happy are you to see a guy that's went through all he's went through, and when his name got called, he come out and performed well?
Dana, he did so well, and that's what you love about coaching. I told the guys before the game, this is really important to all of us, but we've all got issues in our lives. This is a game, and we want to compete, and we want to win. It's very important, but you got to have some fun. And I told William the same thing. He's gone from 342 pounds to 315. He's worked really, really hard to lose the weight, work harder in the weight room, and he hasn't played any. He's played very, very little. A play here, or a play there, or cleaning up in a ball game. And for him to start in a game this important to us and play well has to be such a great feeling for him.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dina.
Okay, over to Josh Graham.
Coach, back to the run game, a couple of things. With Sam running it a little bit more the last couple of weeks, has there been any added emphasis for him to protect himself and potentially slide more often? And secondly, you said you had no idea to explain the run game having the success it did, but was there something in practice that you saw, considering how banged up you guys have been, that led you to believe a performance like today would be possible?
Josh, number one, we constantly tell Sam to get down. A lot of times tonight he got out of bounds, and he is sliding better. He still doesn't do it as much as we'd like, but he's going to be part of our running game, and it's facts. So we've got to make sure that he takes care of himself, but he's such a dynamic runner, and that's one of the things that's improved so much in his game since his first game against South Carolina a couple of years ago and now. Secondly, the running game takes longer. You lose two of the best backs in the country. They're both impact players in the NFL. You're not just going to stick somebody in their place. And then we've had so many injuries in the offensive line, excuse me, that set us back as well. So that was a bad combination of both. Our receivers are coming on. We didn't need the outside guys as much tonight because we ran the ball so well. But now people are going to have to start stacking the box, and it's going to give us opportunities outside again. So we were back tonight in the second half of Georgia State like we want to be offensively.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael Coe, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, you sort of alluded to this earlier, but I wanted to ask about the mood in the halftime locker room, because you had this explosive start in the first quarter, and then you find yourself down 28-24. But it sounds like, at least to me from what you said, it sounds like it was a rather positive attitude. Is that correct?
It was, Michael. I thought I was down. Leaving at halftime, we try a 54-yard field goal. We miss it, and they drive right down and score. Sam threw the interception right before that. They drive right down and score from the 50. So we took a blowout and turned it back into a deficit, and we did it quickly. It was disappointing, and I saw our body language change on the sideline. I saw our heads get down. So we had to pick back up at halftime and start over, and really, really proud of this team and this team's leadership that they came back out and took it down and scored that first drive of the second half. That was so important. And then every drive after that, sometimes you get ahead and you get relaxed and you mess some things up, or you let somebody get back in the ball game. And offensively, we were scoring and moving the ball so well. Virginia was not going to get back and win this game.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Isaac Shade.
Coach, the first 8 offensive plays tonight included 1 incompletion and 7 plays of 10 or more yards and 3 touchdowns. What can you say about the start that you got off to?
Isaac, the offensive line they opened holes and gave Sam protection, and our receivers and Sam are getting on the same page now. It's so hard to do that in practice. You'd think it'd be easy, but it's not, because they're not running the same schemes as Virginia, and you work on those all week, and you've got different people. And our guys get to work against Kyler McMichael and Storm Duck and Tony Grimes every day in practice. So that helps them too. And we knew that Josh was going to be a dynamic player, and now people will start double teaming him, and it'll open the things up outside.
Okay, over Andrew Jones.
Sorry about my throat. I yelled a lot tonight.
Coach, I want to go back to the end of the first half and how you guys flip things around. When you look at sequences of growth during a game, during a season, How big do you think that was going back to 24/7? You're up, everything's going well. Sam's gonna. You guys are, if there's a pick in the end zone, looks like you guys are going to go up 31-14, and boom, you're down 28-24. How much growth did you see in your team overcoming that and flipping it in the third quarter the way you did?
Andrew, I thought it's probably the best thing that could have happened to us. We didn't need to blow them out at that time because then you come back out and you're standing around a little bit in the second half, and 31-14 at halftime, you're feeling too good about yourself. There's hard lessons that happen in games that you can't teach in practice, and they're answering after a touchdown by the other team. They're going out and shutting it down after a turnover. There are things like that happen. And tonight, our team, as a team, didn't get frustrated with each other. I told them at halftime, this is a battle of two of the best quarterbacks in the country. So it is a challenge, man, for both you sets of defenses. So it's going to be who comes out on top with the defenses of making a stop or making these quarterbacks a little bit hesitant. And then we obviously had the 38-yard punt return, which led to a touchdown as well. So our kicking game stepped up tonight. So we had a block punt last week, a 38-yard return tonight. The offense and the running game picked it up. We weren't as good on defense tonight, but I think that's because of Brennan Armstrong. So, but Andrew, I've never been prouder of a team that was way up and got behind and came back and finished the game like they should.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Adam Smith.
Hey, Mac. Talking about refocusing at halftime and starting over, just on a night that Armstrong is throwing for 550 yards, is there also a feeling during the second half of urgency to where, like, I mean, you guys have got to keep your foot on the pedal because you know what he's doing over there? Just what did that feel like, as you're taking the lead and knowing how capable they are?
Yes, absolutely, Adam. You knew they were going to score points, and we were hoping we'd get a turnover. We dropped 2 interceptions that we've got to catch, and when a guy's hot like that, that's what you got to do. And then we've got to get more sacks. We were back there some, but he's so good at stepping around, and I do think that's 2 of the best quarterbacks in the country. And it was fun to watch them, and both of them put on an absolute show. And Sam just had more help with the running game. And I looked up at halftime. They've had the ball 44 plays, and we'd had it 29. We were scoring so fast. So it was wearing our defense out. But I thought that what some of you asked me about on Wednesday and what we talked about as a team all week is mental toughness. And it's really, really hard for young guys in this game to see something flip like that and flip it back. And this is a mentally tough football team because they absolutely flipped it back and didn't blink. And as worried as I was about it at halftime, they were not. They fixed it, and I'm very proud of them.
Did you congratulate them afterwards for stopping the losing streak to Virginia? I know that was, a big deal for you guys and something that was a motivator.
Yeah, I said we've started one. We've got 1-0 as our streak.
Thank you.
All right, Coach, that's about the time we've got for you tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you all. Be careful.